Hi, I'm Kristen Davis, and I want to know, are you a Charlotte? Okay, we're back to the show. So Carrie's home. She's thinking. She's like, I got to thinking. I mean, it's so funny to hear the lines, because everyone used to talk about this stuff, but I was like, yeah, whatever. Now I'm like, no, it's incredible. It's so great, right? And I do think she says, and just like that at some point, which is also really funny.
I noticed that when I was rewatching it this morning. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting. No, I had no idea that was going on, but it was. So she's talking about, friendship with an ex, and is it an unsolvable equation, or is it, what does the X mean, right? Like she talks about math for a second, which is kind of funny. I was like, okay, talking about math equations, all right. So Steve adorably shows up at Miranda's door because he's like, you ran from me. That really hurt my feelings. He's so sweet. Like, that's so vulnerable and adorable that he says that to her, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, God, I just love him so much. And Miranda kind of burst into tears, which is also fascinating. And I didn't remember any of this, but Cynthia's just so good. They're so good together. And you see that she really has this turmoil. And she says a few times in the scene, like, I really miss you. Mm-hmm, and you realize at that point, like, oh, it's like so much more than she wants to even fully admit to. Mm-hmm, like he has connected with her underneath all of her facade of toughness. And I love it so much. So Steve is back.
It's great.
It's so great. It's so great. Then I weirdly am running. I don't remember this at all. I'm like, what am I wearing? I don't remember filming this. I'm running around the reservoir, which is a theme.
You had a lot of scenes where you ran around the reservoir.
I know. So many. And that one I did not remember.
Yeah. Do you run?
No.
No, I don't either.
I did. At one point when I was on Melrose Place, I had the very distinct sensation that I was not working out enough to fit in.
I have tried to run and I hate it.
I had to get a running coach.
Wow.
Because all of the girls would talk about their workout routines. And I was like, darn, I'm like not doing it at all. Right. So I got a running coach.
Okay.
And he would teach me how to run because I was one of those kids where everyone would laugh at me when I ran. Right.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you. Not cute at the time, but I thank you. So he taught me how to run better. I don't know that I'm still that good, but he taught me how to run better. And I ran on the beach, which was,
That's hard.
Really hard.
Yeah.
And it made my quads look like a speed skater in the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was
so you build
not
up muscle
what I was
like really
looking
fast.
for.
Yeah.
It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I had to quit that. But then when they were like, Charlotte runs, I did think it made sense because she's so focused and trying to move forward in her pursuits, right? It seemed to work. And she also plays tennis, which we'll get to with the Kyle character, with Trey. And she makes jokes about her waspy family, and that's how they handle emotions, which I think is great, right?
Yeah.
Like those things I thought were great. So I was like, yes, let's run. Let's try to wear some decent workout wear and run. So I'm running and I see a horse. I didn't remember this. I remember that I would talk about my love, my Taddy love, but I hadn't remembered. I tell a story, or Carrie tells the story, I guess, the voiceover, that I had fallen off the horse and broken my collarbone, and my father had sold the horse the next day, which seems so harsh. Like, ow, I hadn't remembered any of that. Like, emotionally, you see why Charlotte loves her dogs that are coming so much, right? Because her dad sold her horse like the next day. But I was competing, I think. I mean, like, what? I've got to look up Charlotte's backstory. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, I don't remember any of this. I do remember that she had a horse named Taddy that she loved. So I see this horse, and it's riding through Central Park, and this still happens where you'll just be walking in Central Park and see a horse go by, and it's just so incredible.
I just saw one, and I was just walking there. Yeah,
it's incredible, right?
Yeah,
like it's such an old world thing that's still happening. It's pretty cool. So I see the horse. We hear the story, I think, from Carrie about Taddy, the horse in the competition that broke my collarbone, and then I think maybe it's time to get back in the saddle. And that's some lovely writing.
Yeah.
It connects to the others without me having to have a guy, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then Samantha, this is great. And I would love to know where John Enos is, the actor who plays Mr. Too Big, which we're about to meet. Did you ever meet him?
No.
Oh, he was all around in the scene in the 90s.
No, he's
I
really
thought.
handsome.
I
Yeah.
mean, my God, is he handsome and so nice.
Yeah, and I mean, he
so
is
nice.
fit too. You're just,
Oh, my
Wait, I heard
God.
at one point, this is a rumor, I heard that Kim Cattrall got to choose her love interest at a certain point once the show got more successful, that she could like sign off on them or whatever.
We all do.
You do?
Yeah.
So you guys would say like, I'll okay to this person, but not to that person?
Well,
or?
this is what would happen. So not if it was a one episode guy,
Right.
at least not for me.
Right.
And I don't know in that case, because
Well, yeah.
she had some kind of, more intimate stuff to do with people, right? So
Yes.
maybe they asked her, which would have been lovely. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like for me, I don't think they asked me to be involved until it was Trey.
Really? So when they chose Trey, they let you...
But this is what was
How could
funny.
you say no to Kyle MacLachlan? I mean, you must have been psyched, right?
I was shocked. Okay,
Right.
I was shocked is
that
what
he
I
was-
was.
Yeah.
I was shocked for so many reasons. And actually, now that I'm thinking back on it, they didn't actually ask me. They just told me.
Right. No, that's a great get for you guys.
Beyond,
Yeah.
absolutely. But also Michael Patrick had gone to an event, like a picnic, and he had been there, and Michael Patrick was just dazzled. Do you know what I'm saying? But the thing that was weird for me was that what I'd been told, because Michael would sit us down before every season, tell us the arc of our character, the big picture.
Wow, that's
even
great.
way back. Yeah, it was very respectful and lovely. And we were included, even though we had no titles at that point.
Right.
And the idea was that, the beginning of third season, I start talking about like, I'm going to get married. I've got this book and it tells me how, and some crazy
Oh my God,
things.
I have so many friends that do stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
they're
my
like,
God.
well, I read this book and on this many dates, this should be happening. I'm
Right.
like, that like these books aren't actually,
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
It was very hard. I had to really act my ass off during these scenes. So super didactic. Like, this is what I'm going to do. No. So they set me on a course. I'm going to be married by the end of the year. And then the idea originally had been
so funny.
I mean, but people do this because
it's totally relatable. Oh my God, I've done Calling in the One. I've done all these like books that you read,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I avoid them like the plague,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Whew.
Smart.
Thank you. Well, I think because I played Charlotte, right?
You already got that. Yeah.
So the idea for Trey in the original before we met Kyle was that Charlotte would find this guy and he would be handsome and everything, but that he was super boring and that everyone hated him. And then it would be the kind of thing where they'd be like, oh God, here he comes. Will you talk to him? Like the Friends, which we've all been through, right? But the problem was he was played by Kyle MacLachlan.
So he's not boring.
He's not boring. He's
really cute.
And all of us were equally like, Kyle MacLachlan. So they had to shift real quick, right? But that was the joy of our writers, is that they
would just go with what you guys really were. And then,
right, which was, I think, why it worked. Have you seen this thing lately about they've made a bunch of movies where there's like an older woman and a younger guy?
Yeah.
And they're actually talking about this being a trend.
Okay,
and that part of the reason it's a trend is because the younger guys grew up with different expectations and kind of training and are not as held down by kind of the stereotypical norms that our age men were.
And I think older women are also getting more brave, because I think probably there was always younger men that wanted to go out with older women, but maybe some older women felt like, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Like, I don't know if you remember when Demi Moore dated Ashton Kutcher.
I certainly do.
I think a lot of people were like, oh, lucky, that's a hot couple, but she got flack as well,
Yes.
So it's like, why should she be getting flack when
No
her
reason.
male counterparts are not getting any flack?
Not for one hot second. No man ever gets flack, but all the women get flack.
I know.
It's insane. But what I love now is they're making these, like Laura Dern did one with Chris Hemsworth, I want to say.
Love it.
Yeah,
I know, I
and
can't
Anne
wait to
Hathaway
see
did one
that.
with some young man. I don't even know
No,
his
I
name.
saw
It was
that one.
so good.
Yes.
I loved it. Did you love it?
Yeah, it was really good.
I
love
loved
that
it.
director, Michael Showalter. He's
Yes,
amazing.
he's so good. He's so good. I love that trend, and I want it to be a real trend. And there's some other actress person who's talked about this, and I can't remember who it is right now, but I'm like, let's do that. Let's do that. But then I think to myself, I mean, it's odd with my kids, right? Like I can't really just be like, hey, here's this 30-year-old dude. Like, you know what I mean? My kids would be like, what?
I mean, look at the director. What's her name? Who did 50 Shades of Grey? Who's got the much younger husband?
Oh,
they are
Aaron,
like super in love, and they've been together like 20 years.
Incredible. Yeah, no, that's super impressive. I mean, you can always find examples,
course you can find,
right?
yeah.
But I think for my kids, I wouldn't want to casually introduce them. You know what I'm saying?
Casually,
right. If it was something
if you were serious,
yes. And then if the guy could play basketball, everything would be fine.
Your kids would like him.
Yeah, I'd have to send him to a coach if he wasn't good at basketball. But but I think I love that trend. I mean, not to say that there's anything wrong with men our age, because there's not. But I mean, a lot of them are married, obviously, or maybe divorced.
No, my friend, she was on some dating apps, and she's a really successful writer. She's really cool. She's around our ages, and so she was on there, and she wasn't getting like a lot of matches. And then she expanded her profile to include like much younger guys, and she was like flooded with
amazing.
And now she's the one I think we might write something together, but but no, she was flooded with all these younger guys trying to date her.
Did she go out with them?
She went out with some.
And how was it?
I think she had a fun fling with one guy. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's what it is, and that's fine.
No, but it was so funny how she got like this massive
wow. Okay, all right. Okay. Let's go back to the show.
Okay.
Back to the show. Okay, so Samantha is walking down the street. This fits right in. This is before apps, you guys. She's walking down the street, Madison Avenue, and she walks by this hunk of man. His name in life is Johnny Knows. And he looks at her and she looks at him, and it's like, ooh, sizzly. And then she walks past him and looks in the window at Prada on the Upper East Side. And then he comes back and he says something like, you look amazing. And she goes, well, you're so confident. What makes you so
she says cocky. Yeah.
And he goes, I guess I was born that way. And he's not joking. We find out later, which is super funny. But I love how he plays it, because he's just like light and kind of like, well, I guess I was just born that way. Yeah. But he's like just the hunk of man.
If that guy asked you out on the street, you'd be like, wow.
I mean, right? Yeah. Right? And Samantha plays it a little
very cool.
I know, which is
very
of course
cool. Not like,
very. I mean, cool for her, right?
Cool
for her. So then we're just going to do her storyline, because I think it's super interesting. They're in her really weirdly red bedroom, and she's in her like cute little lingerie, and he strips that shirt off, and you're just like, Jesus. And then he goes, I think I need to tell you something before we go any further. And she's like, yes. And I can see in her face, she thinks he's going to say he has an STD or something. She's like, oh no, this is bad. And then he goes, I just need to tell you I'm very well endowed. And he seems kind of adorably embarrassed when he says this,
he's being very modest.
So cute.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, that's wonderful. She's all like cat-like.
Doesn't she go like ding, 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 ding?
Totally. She's very into it. And then we come to find out, no, it's actually an actual problem.
Yes.
Which is interesting. And even Samantha can't do it, which is bizarre. And I would love to know his experience of playing that guy, because all the guys.
I wonder if a lot of women after that show were like, okay, I'm ready. Give it to me.
Right. I mean, it could have been, because all the guys have trippy stories about,
about women hitting on them after being on the show,
or just hating them.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Depending on who they played.
Really? Like who?
Like, I feel kind of bad for them.
Yeah.
Who was just telling us? Oh, well, Fetterman was telling us that people had said all kind of crazy things to him.
Wow.
About the mouse and whatever. You know what I mean? And then, right? Yeah. And then someone else, Brian Van Holt, because he kind of he played like a, I don't want to say who it was written after, but, he was kind of ick. And so people would sometimes, they'd be like, oh my God, you're that guy. And then be like, oh, that was terrible. Whatever, like he'd actually done it, And also Bridget, who played Natasha, told me that for years people would come up to her and say things like, you ruined Carrie's life.
Are you kidding?
Isn't that messed up?
That people don't realize this is not real.
Right, it's not real,
is like
but also Carrie cheated on...
Yeah, she actually... In fact, Carrie actually did worse, because they're cheating, whereas Bridget, like, he was single, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were broken up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she had to put up with it for a while, but she said as time went on, people would come up to her and be like, you were wronged, and whatever. And she'd be like, oh, thank God the tides have turned. Anyway, it's all very trippy, but yes, it is all fictional. So It's interesting to me
because
that
maybe he doesn't have. Like, I don't know. He probably maybe it's just a normal
feel sure
size
it's
penis.
fine. I just want to say.
No, I'm sure he has a good one. Right?
I'm sure it's good. I feel in my bones that it is good. Just from the way that he handled it at the time. I could be wrong. I have no personal knowledge. But he didn't seem to have any problem with it. Let me put it that way.
Maybe you should find out. No.
We should find out for sure. But I do feel at the time, we had figured out, like as a group, that it was hard for the men to come into our show as girlfriends. Basically, they were playing the girlfriend equivalent parts, right? And it seemed unusual for them to be doing that, and sometimes they seemed uncomfortable. So we would kind of try to be friendly, you know, and try to be like, are you okay? How are you feeling? And I remember talking to Johnny, and him just like, I'm fine, you know. How are you? And
he loves it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he seemed totally fine.
Yeah.
I hope that that's still true. Okay, here we go. There's so much more to talk about. Oh my God. Okay, so this is when they, okay. Carrie decides, Carrie sees, okay, so they have this whole conversation about, can you be friends with your ex? Then Carrie goes home and she finds a Laura Ashley dress from the 1980s, which I had a few
cute.
of. That I wore for auditions, you know, they would be like my special dress, which really makes me laugh, and possibly why I didn't get parts in the 80s when I just got out of college, right? So she finds an old dress and she realizes, like, this is so crazy that we would keep old clothes, but that we just throw away our ex-boyfriends, and she decides to call big. She calls him up. Natasha picks up the phone. Not expecting this. So Carrie hangs up the phone. You know, this is in the olden days with regular phones, right?
Yeah.
Then she decides, like, oh no, he could see caller ID. So I'm going to call back. So that he calls back. She calls back. And they have this whole conversation. And then they decide to have lunch at 11 Madison Park, which is still a lovely, very formal, expensive restaurant. And Carrie comes in this beautiful pink dress. I have no memory of this scene at all. I vaguely remember stress but there's like a number of different restaurant scenes. Like there's the restaurant scene where they eventually fall in the pond in the park, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of restaurant scenes. But this one, I didn't remember at all, and I didn't even know what was going to happen, right? Like I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? It was so good. And she has her beautiful natural curly hair with a little bit of frizz on top. I love it so desperately.
Yeah.
And he is being nervous, which we've almost never seen.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's interesting,
yeah,
right?
He's always like Mr. Cool Guy.
Right. And he's like repeating himself and nervous because he knows that he has to tell her that he and Natasha are engaged. And he tells her, she says, let's make a pact that we're not going to talk to each other about our relationships until they get very serious, at which point there's a horrific long silence. Literally horrific, to the point where I'm like, Carrie, get up and run. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't remember what was going to happen. But like he just looks at her for the longest time. And the thing that I thought was great about it is he's so torn. Like on the one hand, he is engaged to this girl and she's lovely and like perfect in so many ways, but he's still so torn, you know, about telling Carrie. Like it's interesting. And I thought he played it really, really well.
Yeah,
you
totally.
Because you just see so much in his eyes, right? But also you wouldn't be like, F you. Like,
he's kind of mysterious. You don't really know what he's thinking. You're like, oh, do you want to be back with Carrie? Do you not? You don't really know where he's coming from.
No. And I mean, that's the whole thing with Mr. Big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the entire thing. You never know where he's coming from. And I so relate to that, to being in those relationships where you're just
it's like that old school man who doesn't know how to express his feelings, doesn't know how to talk to you. And it's very frustrating.
And that's why people want to go out with younger men.
Yeah, interesting.
Because they're
a little better at talking.
It seems
things.
like it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's not
maybe they're not brought
board.
up with the same like old school macho, like you are not allowed to have any feelings and you can never talk about them, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And good for them if that's true. So he tells her that they're engaged. She puts her head down in her hands, and then she says, it just really cut my heart so bad. She says, you string me along for 2 years, then you marry some 25-year-old girl after 5 months? And he's like, I did not string you along, and I just want to kill him. You know, he totally strung her along. What is he talking about? Like men.
I love how supportive you are to Carrie. It's cute. You really are like a good friend, right?
Well, of course I am, but I also really, really relate. You know what I mean? And like I can't. think right now of an,
well, it's kind of that thing, well, she says it later, like when you break a guy in and then you help them grow and then they're ready for the next one, but not for you.
It's super annoying.
Yeah.
And I have definitely felt that. I can't think of who they are right now, which is interesting that I have forgotten them. But I know that there are times in my youth where I was like, well, I did all the work. And now look at that. But I didn't really necessarily want that, right? So there was that too of like, but I'm still free, which is great. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's interesting.
Yeah.
So now we cut to Carrie and me in the stables, in the Claremont stables, like I was telling you about. And I'm just thinking like, why is Charlotte making poor Carrie be there in her heels? Like,
why did Carrie wear heels to go to the stable?
I know,
you could
because she's Carrie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because she's Carrie.
Yeah.
And I want to get back up on the horse, but she's obviously just basically flipping out after this lunch, right? And just like,
she has a very cute top on, by the way, that I wish I had.
All of it is very cute. And she has it in this storage unit somewhere. Maybe one day it will come back out.
So good.
And Carrie compares her relationship with Big to a horse and that she broke him in, right? Which is all the horse imagery, as you said, is fantastic through the whole show. And I'm scared to get on the horse, which is also interesting. And I kind of freak out. I go to get on the horse and then I'm like, no. And then we leave. And I'm like low level Charlotte, terrified. Like, Charlotte has a lot of big feelings. Then we're back to Samantha. She just can't do it, which is so sad. And poor Johnny knows. I felt bad
for him too. Like,
right?
She needs a really big vagina, big coochie.
I guess. I mean,
I hope he found someone that could do it.
I know.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you tried longer, harder with some lubricant or I don't know.
But I have seen some guys, their penises are crazy. You
really?
know what I mean? I'm not saying, it's more like in a porno, okay? Not in life. I've never been with a guy where I was like, oh my God. But like sometimes if you see people online, you're like, is that really real? It's freaky,
I mean, there's that one guy where they made obviously Heather's made me feel very comfortable, you guys. I'm saying some craziness on here. There's that one porn guy where they made a dildo.
Based on him.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
That was, because we've had to film at numerous sex shops or whatever you call it. The one
and
on
how
Sunset.
big is it?
It was pretty big, but I don't feel like it was like
it's not ridiculous.
Doable,
no, but I've seen people like that. It's like,
ew. Who wants that?
I mean,
I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't want that.
That is crazy.
Heather just really put her hands far away, you guys, like 12 inches, okay, in case you're not watching. I mean, that is kind of what is implied because, like, when they are trying again, they're kind of going slow. And she's like, okay. Yeah. And then he goes, okay, are we ready? And she's like, are we ready?
Yeah.
So I guess it's implying length. Yeah, that's weird. I can't imagine that. That could be painful. I don't know. I've never had that problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a loaded storyline, man. Oh my God. So then, I've skipped around a bit, but then this is so sweet. So Miranda and Steve go to dinner because they're trying to be friends, but you can so tell that, it's just unfinished business, man. So they come back and they have the sweetest room. It's the sweetest scene in her bedroom, which also made me think, like, does Miranda not have the rest of her set yet? Because we had to, like, we would each get more walls, as time went on.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I only had the white bedroom with a picture of a woman falling through water, like kind of a sad and interesting picture, and a pink lamp, which I still have in my house.
Oh, wow.
And I used to only have 2 flats that they would just move around.
Okay.
And then once I had a hallway when Samantha sleeps with my doorman. And I was like, I don't even remember that hallway. Where'd that hallway go?
Yeah.
And then I get a kitchen when Samantha sleeps with my brother, but then that kitchen disappears also. They're all white. That's how you know that they're mine, right? And then I think, well, we don't go to my house in this scene. We're just in with the horses. Yeah. But with Samantha, we just see her red bedroom.
Right,
and with Miranda, I feel like we just see the bedroom with the metal bed.
Yeah.
But when she had the interior designer, she did have a living room. So, but I don't know.
Do you know
what
one
happens.
of my most memorable Miranda scenes was when she made the brownies and she was trying not to eat the whole tray and then she threw them in the trash, but then she took them out of the trash and then she threw them in the trash again and then she poured like soap on it so she stopped eating it.
Because do you remember when she ate the cake out of the trash or the cookie? She eats out of the trash. I know this because it's a meme.
So
okay, it's a meme. It's
so
really
funny.
good. It's really good.
It's relatable. You're like, I'll just have one cookie. And you're
Totally.
like, no.
I mean, all the Miranda food stuff is hysterical. Like they wrote that scene, and Cynthia was always so game to do it.
Yeah.
Because we would really eat in the coffee shop scenes.
Yeah. Oh,
and
you really
everyone,
would?
Yeah, everyone would
So they
ask
would
us.
just give you what
spit
food
bucket.
you really wanted.
Yeah, they would ask us in advance, what food do you want? You would try to order wisely, obviously. And
Like, what would you order?
Very long. It would depend. I would usually order like a chicken breast or something that was
Right.
like, you know, not to like let it, like I was not into the salads. Cynthia was into the salads. So they eventually write a scene where she has like all this salad dressing and it's like all over her face. And I was like, you guys, why are you going so far? Like, don't go so far. And she was so totally game. And sometimes I get salmon or something healthy.
Interesting.
You know
so you
what
get
I mean?
like a protein.
Yeah.
What would
try to get a
everyone else
protein.
get?
A fair amount of salads, except they're hard to eat. And they
Yeah.
really want us to eat,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you don't pick your fork up, they'll come over there and be like, pick your fork up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm trying
That's
to
the
talk.
problem. I mean, we both know like once they're shooting from all, you have to eat a lot of food in
So
those scenes
much
because you could
food.
do like 20 takes or 30 takes of that scene.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got to cover Hubble,
Yes.
which we kind of did
And the
anyway.
horse.
It's such a good scene. And
Yeah.
I lose my voice in the scene. You can tell that because we had to sing so much.
Oh, wow.
My voice is like half mast.
I never noticed that.
I
Yeah.
also lose my voice a lot in that as the season goes because we would work all night, and have to be loud, even though we're
Yeah.
body mic'd and everything.
Yeah.
So my voice is like scratchy, and I'm always scared to death of singing. And I can tell Sarah's like caretaking me in that scene. Do you know what I mean? She's like looking at me like focus, focus on me. Don't be scared.
That's sweet.
I know, because also you're singing Barbara Streisand. It's not an easy song, you know. But it's fun to watch because like we are, the three of us, so invested in explaining to Samantha
Right.
the similarities and the beauty of the way we were. In case any of you listening have not seen the way we were,
Watch it.
Please see it immediately. It is magical in so many ways.
And they duplicated the plaza scene, right? 'Cause-
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
I mean, it's
interesting.
incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And just recently, when we were promoting that other show, I'm not going to say the name, we were in Paris and we went on this kind of like, they have like lengthy talk shows in Europe, you know? And Cynthia, Sarah, and I went together onto this talk show. And there was a whole panel of people interviewing us, like maybe 5 people. It was so interesting. And the main woman was in charge. And they had this whole package made of the way we were, of Barbara Streisand singing, of Sarah Jessica talking about how she loves Barbara Streisand, and then the scene at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
And they played the whole thing for us.
Wow.
And all of us teared up. I teared
Yeah.
up thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was so good, you know, and so beautiful. And at that point, we didn't know that the show was ending. But it reminded us, you know, of like all the times before, you know, and like what we've gotten to make.
Yeah.
And just the beauty. And like,
that was
we
a
love
really
these things.
memorable moment. And not
Right?
only that, it was like your guys' friendship and just that beautiful, like, yeah, it was just a great energy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was so good. And right when they finished, because I was looking at Cynthia and Sarah because I'm the crier, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, what are they going to do? They're teared up. And they don't want to be teared up on a TV show. Do you know what I'm saying? So like when it was done, I think I jumped in there to try to talk, to give them a minute or whatever. But I mean, it really like, and then when I watched the episode, I have all those feelings all over again.
Wow.
It's so good.
Yeah, it really
It's so
is.
good.
It's one of the most powerful episodes, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so let's just talk through it just briefly. So basically, the engagement party's been happening. Carrie's been down the street with us talking about how she can feel them down there. She was invited, but she didn't go, which also it's a little weird they invited her, but whatever. And, you know, we're drinking and we're like, you know, then we're trying to talk about other things. And then she walks by it, which, you know, she's like, kind of drawn, you know, like a moth to a flame, right? And she sees Big getting in the car with Natasha, and he sees her, and he's wearing this very brown suit. And to me, I'm like, why do we care so much about him? Do you know what I mean? That's how I felt, right?
That's interesting.
And she looks incredible, you know, in that white slip dress, just to die. So he walks over to her, and she's so sweet and kind of sad and sweet to him, and has so much poise.
She's like looking for clarity too. Like, well, why did you ask her to marry you and not me, right?
She says, why her?
Yeah.
But he doesn't really answer.
Yeah, he doesn't. He says it was complicated,
right.
You know?
And then he says it was just so hard.
Okay,
that's what
it
he
was
says.
so hard.
Which I just want to kill him when he says that. I'm like, oh. But then he goes, and she's just so, and I think the word would be simple, right? But he doesn't say
or
it.
Easy,
or
maybe.
Easy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But then you're thinking, what is it costing her to be like that? That's what I'm thinking, at least. I'm like, how hard is she having to try to be so easy? I mean, maybe she just is naturally that way, but I don't know anything about
Easier
that.
to kind of keep that up after 5 months. A few years later, nobody's that easy, right?
Right? That's what I'm thinking too, Heather. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
So then he kind of trails off. He doesn't really give her like a solid answer, and that leads her into remembering the Barbara Streisand, Robert Redford moment. And she reaches up and touches his hair and says, your girl is lovely, Hubble. And he says,
he's kind of like, doesn't make what I don't get it or something.
He says, I don't get it. And Carrie says, and you never did.
Yeah.
And it's so incredibly good. And then she walks away towards camera, which is one of the most beautiful shots.
It's a great shot.
And the wind blows her hair.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. And he's in the background, and who cares about him? You know what I mean? And then and then she says, this is so good. So she's right by the plaza, which is where the horses are for the horse-drawn carriages for Central Park, which I really personally wish they weren't, but they still are. So she walks by the horses, and you can see it's actually one of our ADs is playing the horse-drawn carriage guy, and he's trying to put the harness on the horse's head, and the horse doesn't want the harness on its head. It's like fighting it, right? And the voiceover line says, then I had a thought. Maybe I didn't break big. Maybe the problem was he didn't break me. Maybe some women aren't meant to be tamed.
Oh, chills. I feel like I related to that so much.
Yes, it's so good. And maybe some women aren't meant to be tamed.
Yeah.
And isn't that just who we should be?
And not just fit into this box, but just to really be your authentic self.
Yes. And it's so good. And her and that horse have a look.
That was an iconic moment, just like walking away with a horse and a thing, and like, whether or not I get this guy, I'm fabulous. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then she says, maybe they need to run free until they find someone just as wild to run with.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that part.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't really I don't know what happens next because I can't remember, but Aiden comes eventually. I don't know, maybe this is unfair. He's not really someone to run wild with.
Yeah, I guess you could see him as slightly wilder than big, but he's not exactly what you're picturing when she's saying that,
Right. No, you're thinking, let this woman run wild, like for real, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was really good. Oh, wait, here's some Enos trivia. Okay, his name is John Enos III. And he played Mr. Cocky, and he was known before this episode as Bobby Parisi on Melrose Place. Oh my God, he was on Melrose Place.
Did you work with him?
No, I think he came after me. Maybe that's what we talked about. After this episode, he went on to do 212 episodes of The Young and the Restless.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Katie, did you know him from Melrose Place? No. Apparently we were both on the same season 4. Oh, maybe I did. We've got to find John Enos and ask him.
Maybe you should have him on. Talk to him.
I should totally have him on the Catching Up with Friends. Then we have some trivia about yes, we recreated. We already talked about that. 11 Madison Park still open.
I'm glad we did this episode. I love this episode.
I love this episode so
fun.
much. I had totally forgotten that white dress is John Galliano for Christian Dior.
Oh, really? Wow.
The most desired vintage season.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
wow.
also
that would be fun to talk about some of I love your love story with Kyle and Evan. It was so fun to see Charlotte go through that. It was.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I'm so glad.
Good.
It was kind of stressful at times. You know what I mean? But also, I want to talk about your movie you made.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I cannot believe you wrote, directed, and starred in a film called Chosen Family, which I love the title.
Yes.
How did you do this?
Well, I wanted to celebrate friendships and the friends of the chosen family. And, in a lot of ways I've been inspired by Sex and the City, maybe because I could relate. But it's kind of about how there's a sort of a codependency undercurrent to it as well. It's kind of about how, sometimes if your family has certain maybe dysfunctional patterns, how you can be attracted to that in your relationship.
Well, I must see this film.
And it's kind of about how your friends are really your family. And Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But how was it directing yourself?
It was fun. There's also a story plot about dating a divorced guy with a kid. And I don't know if you have kids, but
I've dated
when you
divorced guys
dated,
with
I don't know,
kids.
either dating someone and them trying to get along with your kids, or you dating someone and trying to get along with their kids, that can be sometimes like a transitional period where they're not always so excited. Like,
Obviously,
here's, like,
that's why
a
I
new
said I'm not
person.
going to introduce my kids to the 30-year-old that I'm going to find in the future.
I mean, some people I know have had like no problems and they get along great, but
Right.
sometimes there's a period where
of course,
it's hard.
yeah. But like, how did you direct yourself?
Well, I had people on set that were great. I had my best friend who's a producer. His name's Michael Nichols, and he was there. He would help. And then the DP's amazing. He actually shot Emily in Paris, and
wow.
and a bunch of other cool shows. So they would help me and be like, "Well, try this or try that, or maybe this scene's not working. Try it this way, try it that way." So we were like a little 3 group where
Nice.
we talked about everything in advance. And
Cool.
Yeah, and I hope to. I have some other stuff that I'm developing. I just wrote a new script. It's called Triggered that I'm working on with Vanessa Hope and Ted Hope. And
Amazing.
I optioned this Leanne Moriarty book. It's called The Hypnotist Love Story. And I'm working on it with my friend Deb Fisher, who's the showrunner of the first 2 seasons of Ginny and Georgia, which was a really
my
good show.
daughter loves this show.
Yeah. So, and we have, we might turn into a movie, a TV show. We're kind of figuring it out right now. But I love female stories.
Amazing.
Stories with female protagonists. I love it.
Yay. And
Yeah.
do you want to continue directing?
I do. I would love to. I mean, I love all kinds of behind the scenes. Like, I like the producing aspect. I'd like to option books. Maybe I'll do stuff where I don't direct or write or act, but I love every aspect. I like acting in it, directing, writing, producing. It's so much harder when you direct and write and produce because it's like
For
it can take
sure.
years and it's kind of like your baby. And then when people make different decisions that you think they shouldn't be making, it's much more of like a roller coaster, but it's very fun.
Yay.
It's so fun to be in this business and to learn about all the, like, how much cinematography makes a huge difference, how much the editing makes a huge difference, how much the music makes a huge difference. It's just fun to learn about all that stuff.
Absolutely. I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
You're so sweet. You know what?
Thank
You
you.
meet people and you are just like a very, very sweet, lovely person.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm not. Just not here. You know what I mean? Like, why? Right? That would
No, but
be
you
weird.
have like maybe they base the character on your truth, but you have all the sweetness of Charlotte. You know what I mean? Like it seems
Thank
like you
you.
really it's cool. Yeah,
you.
because
We
sometimes you
did
meet people and you're
develop
like,
it.
wow, that person isn't a jerk.
100%. We have all been in that moment.
and
that
you're
is a
like, oh, I'm
shock.
really looking for it, and then
Right?
you're like, wow, that person is.
And you're like, oh
so
no,
mean, you know?
Totally. It's so
But
scary,
no,
right?
you are lovely.
Thank you
Yes.
so much,
and
Heather.
it's so fun
you
talking
are
to
lovely.
you.
It's really fun having you. I mean, the thing I think about Charlotte and what I love about her, I obviously love Charlotte, and we really did develop her together because she wasn't so much in the book that we based the show off of, right? So
She gets really deep. Like as it goes along, you get to learn so much about her, and she's complicated and deep.
And I'm so thankful to the writers for that. You know,
Yeah.
that they gave me such a gift, and Michael Patrick especially. Like we have such a incredible relationship and know each other so well, obviously for.
But it's
30
really
years.
cute, like your properness mixed with like the raunchy nature of the show. It's really funny, you know.
Thank you. I have had moments on here. We had someone on, and it was an episode where we had to say the P word or something, and I didn't want to say it. And then one of the comments was like, Davis seems really conflicted. And I'm like, yes, I am. I play Charlotte. I am conflicted. Like, I'm not against. I celebrate freedom, but sometimes in
it's
the
not
moment,
your personality, which is adorable. Yeah,
right.
It's
Thank
cute.
you. Thank you. You're a joy. And I can't wait to see
thanks for
everything you're
having me
going to do.
on
I'm
your
going to go watch that
podcast.
movie.
I want some pictures with you.
Let's do it. Let's do it.